You know, with this experience, we can say with confidence that AGP has had our eye on the Dakotas for a really long time. In fact, Cal and I recall coming to Aberdeen a few years back to evaluate and discuss the possibility of a soybean processing plant. Sorry about that. We didn't proceed back then, but we can definitely say that now is the time to proceed with this facility in Aberdeen. As most of you know, the Dakota region has experienced the largest growth in soybean production of any area in the United States over the past several years. And today, this production is being transported from the region to export markets or to other processing plants. Now, while that movement has and will continue to be an important function of the industry, we believe in the opportunities that are afforded through processing in this region. As a cooperative owned by 170 farmer-owned cooperatives across the Midwest, AGP views this opportunity as consistent with our mission of providing markets for producer soybeans, adding value to those soybeans, and generating competitive returns for our member owners. And again, I want to clarify, we're the largest soybean processing company in the world. We're the largest west of the Mississippi in the United States. As you may know, the earnings generated by the opportunity as a cooperative are then returned back to our farmer-owned cooperative members in the form of patronage payments. And we presently have several cooperative owners in the area, and we anticipate additional cooperatives will become members once that facility is operating. You know, our confidence in the success of this new plant stems from our experience in processing nearly 250 million bushels of soybeans annually at our existing 9 processing plants. And this results in the production and marketing of over 5.8 million tons of soybean meal, which is used as the primary protein source in animal feed in both domestic and international markets via export. But it also results in the production and marketing of over 2.8 billion pounds of soybean oil, and that's used in both the food manufacturing business as well as in the production of biodiesel, of which AGP produces over 100 million gallons annually. Now, the new plant that we will be building here will add to the processing and production totals of this overall platform, yielding enhanced returns that are, again, returned to the cooperatives and the producers in this area as well as throughout the system. Well, so how did we arrive at this decision to build at this site? Well, I can tell you that a team of AGP management and employees actively engaged in the site selection process, and the team identified several key criteria in the process, and you heard about part of that. First of all, soybean availability, but also it's looking at soybean meal demand, soybean oil demand, and we needed some other things, competitive transportation access and infrastructure. We also needed competitive utility access and infrastructure there as well. We needed labor availability, very important, and then we needed state, regional, and community support, and certainly we have found all of those things. You know, initially we identified several sites in the regions as possible locations, but when we continued with our on-site visits, and that was coupled with in-depth discussions with local, county, and state officials, with railroad and transportation-related sources, with natural gas and electric utilities, all of those served to narrow our selection process. And ultimately, we were able to narrow that list of potential locations. Upon diligent analysis, it became clear that this site in the Whitewood Industrial Park in Aberdeen was in fact the best site and the best fit across our criteria. And let me say this, we are absolutely excited with the hospitality, the support, and the enthusiasm that's been shown to us by the city of Aberdeen, by Brown County, and by the state of South Dakota. You know, people do make the difference, and we are confident that as we proceed, you're going to continue to see that AGP, our culture, and our people are a great fit for this area as well. Well, so what are some of the details about this project? And I know that many of you have maybe a general awareness of the project, but let me take a few minutes to go over some key facts. First, you may want to know the cost of the facility. Well, I got to tell you, our standard practice is that for competitive reasons, we avoid disclosing the capital investment. There are some others who'd like to know that as well. We'd like to keep that, play those cards a little close to us. I will say that this is the largest single investment in AGP's history. So it's big, it's substantial for us, and it's a very serious project that we are excited about. The plant will be a state-of-the-art value-added soybean processing plant operating 24 hours a day, typically around 350 days per year. Annually, it will process over 40 million bushels of soybeans with an expected draw area of about 100 miles around the area. Soybeans will be delivered primarily via truck, utilizing existing highway infrastructure with some modifications for safety and efficient plant access. Major impacts for soybean producers and marketers in the area include increased prices for soybeans, a year-round soybean market, then that'll be improved from the current roughly 6-month market, and again, patronage refunds back to cooperative owners that ultimately are returned back to producers. The plant will produce nearly 1 million tons of soybean meal annually. The facility will be served by the BNSF Railroad, and a substantial amount of the soybean meal produced at the plant will be shipped by rail to the AGP facility at the Port of Grace Harbor in another Aberdeen, Washington. And that will be for export to Pacific Rim countries. Pacific Rim is the major market for meal use and feed rations to meet growing dietary protein needs. However, a significant amount of the soybean meal will be marketed regionally via trucks to feed manufacturers for consumption primarily by poultry, hogs, and dairy cattle in these markets. These feed manufacturers in the area will benefit from the reduced transportation costs relative to where they're getting product today, and also, therefore, from lower meal prices. Again, cooperatively owned feed companies will also benefit from the return of patronage payments. Now, the new Aberdeen plant will produce around 465 million pounds of crude soybean oil annually, and that oil will be delivered to AGP soybean oil refineries in existence or being built in Hastings, Nebraska, or Sergeant Bluff, Iowa, for further value-added processing before being marketed to the food manufacturing and food service sectors or to biodiesel plants. Now, I will mention that in our evaluation of this location, AGP has considered that the site is in fact adequate for future growth, including possible expansion of the processing plant, a possible soybean oil refinery down the road, or a possible biodiesel plant. But first things first, we're going to proceed with this project. As I'm sure you can attest, AGP views the opportunity to locate in Aberdeen as a partnership, as you've heard earlier, same comments that we would make, and that partnership is with the community, the county, and the state, and the region. Like any partnership, there are many benefits for all the partners. First, we anticipate employing approximately 50 full-time positions to support operations at the plant. We pay competitive salaries and wages, and we also provide excellent and affordable medical, dental, and vision benefits. Additionally, AGP maintains an active, non-contributory defined benefit pension plan, and we also provide percentage match funding on 401k plan contributions. And we project the value of these salaries, wages, and benefits will total nearly $6 million per year at startup. But equally important, we maintain a fair and equitable work environment with opportunities for upward mobility. That's all important to us and part of the culture. Additional impacts for the community include an estimated $60 to $70 million in construction labor, and that's about 150 to 200 contract personnel that will be on site during the building phase, and that will obviously impact local hotels, restaurants, and other service providers as well. When operational, AGP has ongoing contracts for annual maintenance and plant upgrades that will impact these local businesses similarly, and those are ongoing. In terms of a timeline for the project, well, final construction decisions are contingent upon still some various negotiations, and at this time we are already proceeding with the detail engineering, and that'll be followed by permitting, and that's an extensive process involving local and state authorities and the EPA. So that always is something that takes some work to get through, and unfortunately that process, we're currently projecting that at around 18 months to take place. Construction will follow, and we anticipate the facility will be operational in the fall of 2019. I will say that our members, management, employees, and about everyone here is very excited to proceed on the project. Well, in conclusion, let me restate our mission, that we are in business to provide markets for producer soybeans, add value to those soybeans, and generate competitive returns for our member owners, which are ultimately returned back to cooperative owners and producers. This project is a great fit with that mission and AGP's overall business platform. But we're also excited about the benefits it brings to this community, county, and state, because that's our culture. I would like to again thank all of the individuals who worked so hard to bring this project to where we are today and who will continue to assist in the future. So on behalf of AGP, we thank you and we look forward to a tremendous and successful project. Thank you.